You tell them the truth. Seeking the truth, speaking the truth. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we don't black down.
First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DePrima go way back. Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DePrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning. Happy Monday. God bless. I'm Dominique DePrima. This show is called First Things First, and my first thing today and every day is gratitude, giving thanks, giving gratitude, asking for blessings from the Most High, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go. Man, something about this week, I feel like we just got a lot to do and a lot to talk about. And this is how we do it on a Monday. Hour 3, we do a deep dive into something, a hot topic, a person or place or thing of interest. Hour 2, we will go national, international, and beyond and open up the phone lines. And in the first hour, we will look to the left coast. That is all things happening on the Pacific Ocean side of town. And here to join me in that endeavor, now with his own show on Saturdays, The Conversation Live, Altadena Rising, is also a writer for the LAProgressive.com and a contributor all around here. James Farr, good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. How are you?
I'm blessed and highly favored. How are you?
You know what? It's Monday.
Yes.
It's Monday.
All
it's
day.
Weird weather the last couple of days. But
it's supposed to be nice this week. They said 70s, at least in LA. I don't know about out, Pasadena way.
I mean, the rain over the weekend was cold. Like, it was really cold.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like winter yesterday. But no, we're good. How was your weekend?
It was nice. I got to go to a fundraiser in support of the LA County High School for the Arts, and really a lot of talented young people. To me, that's the thing that I was telling my other friend. It inspires me. No matter how much AI or tech or whatever's going on in Washington, there's some kid somewhere playing scales on the bass, playing that trumpet until they master it. And the level of talent of these kids from all different ethnic backgrounds and many neighborhoods and zip codes was quite inspiring. Anthony Anderson hosted it. He's a graduate of there from the 80s, so it was nice. It was really
so
nice.
you were in the loft on Cal State LA's campus.
No, it was the actual fundraiser was in downtown LA.
In downtown,
yeah,
okay.
It was really nice. So anyway, we've had a teacher from that school on here. We're trying to support these folks. It's a gem, and I think it's important because this is a company town. We're an entertainment town. If we're not taking African American, Latino, Asian, low-income, working-class kids out of these neighborhoods and training them to work in this industry, then we're failing.
Well, you know that my daughter's class of 2025, she's graduating from there this year.
Oh, well, congrats.
Yeah.
So
she's moving on.
yeah.
She's a theater kid, though. So
yes,
but it's a great school.
Theater kids grow up to be warriors.
Warriors and queen talk show hosts in the morning, right? It's a great school. Academic is very rigorous. They have an amazing alumni. It's merit based, right? In terms of
you have to audition.
You have to audition.
Yeah.
But even in that, you do see some disparity in terms of the different tracks or programs. Theater and dance are a little bit more to kind of, without the instrument and be able to get into the school. But you see it in the you were at I think it was a jazz event, right? It's expensive for kids to learn how to read music.
To be honest, they displayed everything. They had dancers, they had theater, all of it. It was great. But you're right. Yeah, there's always going to be disparities because of the training, the special training that more wealthy kids can get. But working class kids, black children, always find a way to let their genius shine through. And
absolutely, I'm going to miss going to the performances there.
Yeah. Well, you can still go.
I guess you're right.
You can still go. It's just that dad tracked. Whew, all the driving and all the.
Oh, she's driving now, like license and everything.
Okay.
So it's a whole new thing going on.
So you're free.
I don't know about that.
You're free until the auto accident happens. No, I'm not wishing that on
No,
her.
I mean, there was a real moment yesterday with her. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to be here this
free
morning.
As in you don't have to drive. Not free as it ain't going to cost you. It's going to cost you. You know that already.
Oh, I'm grateful to be here.
Yeah, well, as am I. So we do have a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on and tracking. I know you're tracking. Well, you live out there, so you have no choice but to track the progress in Altadena, Pasadena, the rebuilding, the politics of it all. And I was reading in Pasadena Now, which you sometimes write for, that all of the landowners who have been impacted by the Eden Fire have now turned in their right of entry forms. They've all got them in. That seems like good news. I mean, right of reentry means you can go in there and start working on your property, right? Correct?
Right. No, that is a good thing. I mean, because the deadline was coming up, and if they didn't opt in for the Army Corps of Engineers to do the debris removal, then the landowners would be responsible for itself. So that is progress. But there's also something that we didn't actually get to at the town hall a couple of weeks ago. But there's only been one building permit issued.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
And that's why I was clowning. You weren't here those days, but that's why I was talking smack about Supervisor Catherine Barger.
Mm-hmm.
How is she getting a pass? Everyone's piling on Bass. Our cleanup is ahead of schedule, folks, here in L.A. You might not like it, but it is.
Well,
permits are being issued in the Palisades. So why does Catherine Barger, our only Republican on the Board of Supervisors, get a pass when no permits are being issued? That's a county issue, isn't it?
It is a county issue, and she's not getting a pass. I mean, I have multiple requests into her office. I've invited her multiple times on the Conversation Live, Altadena Rising, so we can have that conversation.
And so far, no luck. So far, the conversation dead.
It hasn't happened, right? And
yeah.
so,
well, maybe it will. Perhaps they've overlooked your emails.
No, they haven't. There's been phone calls.
Yeah.
There's been communication.
I mean, booking people is hard, so I'm gonna put it out there that she's gonna show up for you or for me or somewhere.
Somebody.
Some accountability. When I say getting a pass, I don't mean from you. Nobody gets a pass from you. I mean a pass from the mainstream media. I don't see the LA Times. In fact, when they report on what they consider problematic aspects of the recovery, the only name you hear is Karen Bass. Even when they're talking about Altadena, they'll say Karen Bass and other officials.
There's a
Even
lot
though she's not the mayor of Pasadena or
there is
over
no mayor
Altadena.
of Altadena.
Right,
I mean, there's
right.
a lot of conflation that happens.
Right.
There's a lot of anti-blackness in the coverage and kind of blaming Bass where she has nothing, Mayor Bass, where she has nothing to do with Altadena. It's when Altadena is still pushed to the side, Dominique. That's just the hard reality of it. Like, it's not. You know, when the supervisor said she was surprised a couple of weeks ago
that this was a wake-up call, and I'm going, dude, the fire happened almost 100 days ago.
How
is
are
it
you
a wake-up
surprised?
call? Right. What else have you been doing with your time?
And respectfully, you know, Habitat for Humanity does great work, right? Worldwide, right? I mean, and certainly here domestically, right? But the first permit that was approved was a Habitat for Humanity project. And if that didn't just riff like a political stunt, like this is a PR thing and spin in full motion. The county needs to relax some of the constraints on building.
Oh, you mean kind of like the mayor of LA has done?
She's taken some leadership, and I don't think she's getting enough credit
So
for it.
what you're saying is you don't think that it has anything to do with the fact that the LA Times likes to attack black politicians, particularly our black mayor. You think it's all about Palisades having more clout, being a wealthier.
No, I think both things are true at the same time. I clearly, it's easier to conflate the story into Palisades, and it's convenient to blame a black woman again.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, I know 2, 3, even 10 things can be true at once. No permits so far. You feel like,
One.
other than the Habitat for Humanity, you feel that speeding it up is going to require some loosening of regulations. That means that it would be the whole Board of Supervisors, not just Barger, but more than likely she would be the one that would need to bring it to the table.
She's authored many bills, right, and legislation, so it would be nothing for her to kind of follow suit and bring something forward that all of the supervisors can get on board with, because it will impact Palisades, and certain other portions of unincorporated LA County. And it, so it will be beneficial, but, this is what we expected to see, Dominique. Like, I don't think you're surprised. I'm certainly not surprised. There's the reality right now is that people still need relief.
To be honest with you, I'm not surprised that people still need relief. I am surprised that Barger has been so slow on the uptake, because she is the only Republican on the LA County Board of Supervisors. So I would think she would have more clout to get some love, to get some help. I mean, certainly we saw when the president came to town, he was bashing the mayor and cozy face with Supervisor Barger. So can you use that clout to help everybody?
More importantly,
that's not a Republican.
she's terming out.
So she don't care. She's on the.
I'm not going to say. I don't know.
Lame duck train.
I haven't had a chance to ask her. Right.
Or else she does. She should care. She should be bolder because she has less to lose. Unless she's running for governor or that made up, county CEO elected position. Folks be ambitious.
There's something else afoot here, right? I mean, the fact that it hasn't been, she's done a lot of virtual meetings, very controlled meetings. We don't see her in the public, right?
This might not be the best time for Republicans to be doing in-person town hall meetings at all. I mean, we've seen what happens when they do it. Nevertheless, in a situation like this, Altadena Eaton Fire, you would think you would want to give hugs and shake hands and show up and show. Of course she does, or she wouldn't be elected. But that's not the point.
Well, she is elected to serve all of the people, and not just the Republicans, not just the Democrats. She is elected to serve everybody in the 5th district.
Memo to the new leader of the FCC from James Farr. 800-920-1580 if you want to weigh in. If you'd like to weigh in without having to speak out publicly, you can go to watch us streaming at youtube.com, KBLA 1580, and get in the comments. The live comments are a whole vibe around here, and we welcome you in. Dominique DePrima with James Farr for KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, who's a good boy? Oh, who's what? Oh,
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppable, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
You really about to do it?
40 acres and a mule, this is bigger than the music.
You really about to do it?
Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
Who among us doesn't like black music? But Kendrick is right. This moment is so much bigger than music. These are serious times. We've got serious problems, and we need serious people who understand that slogans are not solutions. When you want substantial and sober analysis about things that matter to you and the ones you love, this is where you turn. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
I'm ready. Let me just grab my bag. Sweatpants, huh? Didn't know we were keeping it casual this month. Yeah, I feel bloated every now and then.
You have to try new Align 3-in-1 Biotic Gummies. They have prebiotics to nourish good bacteria, probiotics to help relieve occasional bloating, and postbiotics for immune support.
All that in one gummy?
Yep. So no sweatpants next time?
Not anymore.
Align 3-in-1 Biotic Gummies for gut health support. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Right now, James Farr is with me, and we're going to get caught up as much as we can with the many, many things going on in Altadena, Pasadena, the concerns. But we're talking about all things left coast. So if you want to call in 800-920-1580, that is the spot to do so. And James, you had, not this Saturday, but the last one, you had the district attorney over all of LA County, which includes Altadena, Pasadena, Nathan Hochman, on with you. He was on with me during the election. Haven't seen him since then, but maybe we will. Mm-hmm. And that was quite lively.
Yeah, it was. My intention in extending an invitation to District Attorney Hochman, he's touted and, he's tough on crime. He's his hard middle and all the other rhetoric that he...
Hard middle, that's his talking point.
Right.
I don't see the middle part, but...
So, throwing the book at looters. And so that was, one of the questions that I wanted to ask him, his attention to the Menendez brothers, but I really was concerned about the community. And what I wanted to get to with him is that 18 people died in the Altadena Eden Canyon fire. And if he intends on criminally prosecuting Southern California Edison. And his answer essentially was, he kind of talked it into the space of arson, almost as if there is not or could not potentially be still a criminal liability for negligence or gross negligence.
So basically he said no without saying no.
Exactly.
But talked it into the space of arson is deep, because that's not what's coming out in the press.
That's not what we're looking at.
That's not what the fact set seems to point to.
So again,
there were a lot of rumors about that. Maybe he's leaning into black people love rumors. I don't know. But...
No, I think there's, again, the conflation, right? That's the potentially there are arson in Palisades and other parts of Los Angeles County. But clearly what we all see in Altadena is the utility power pole ignite.
Yeah, so that's what seems very odd. And so you saw, I'm sure, the article in the Sentinel, which was written by Danny Bakewell Jr., where he really calls out the district attorney, saying he has to apply the law equally. And it's that, of course, that's the first thing I thought when I saw that Kevin De Leon story. Kevin De Leon took $250K from people with whose matters he directly voted on.
Mm-hmm.
And no criminal charges, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse in the DA's office. I'm not sure how you address that. I mean, it's tough to take on a guy who could charge you for conversationing live while drinking coffee or whatever.
You know what? That would be a new one. But no, I mean, you are. I mean, again, it's where's the hard middle in that, right? It's clearly there's no equity, you know. And back to my point with him is like 18 people died.
Yeah, and no criminal liability. Well, I mean, you could make the argument that Southern California Edison didn't purposely start the fire. Their negligence.
Well, so purposely would be arson, right?
Right.
I don't think anybody is looking at this as an arson, right? No one, and that was kind of what I said to him. No one went up there to that tower with a lighter and set it on fire, right? That's not what happened. He did offer that the ATF has sent investigators in to kind of look into the causation, and they'll do, you know, a final report at some point. But there's negligence and there's gross negligence, right? Like I've said it before, Dominique, at some point electeds and these highly paid executives are going to have to do their job, like one day. And this is the day that this tower that had been decommissioned for over 50 years may be the cause of 20,000+ people being displaced from their homes. 18 people dead.
Insane.
Yeah.
I mean, they are going to have, if it's found in the favor of the plaintiffs, they are going to have quite a bit of civil liability.
They will have some
possibly
liability.
enough to put them out of business.
No, they won't be put out of business because the legislators won't allow that to happen.
Right, of course.
They will, kind of like with PG&E.
Too big to fail.
They're too big to fail, and it would disrupt the entire grid. They'll eventually pass on the cost
to you and me
to their customers.
Yeah.
But when I also had Kimiko Nickerson, the daughter of Rodney Nickerson, and who's represented by attorney Carl Douglas on, and when you hear those stories,
they were on with me also. It's pretty insane.
Yeah.
But for those not following along the bouncing ball, what we're referencing with Kevin De Leon is the fact that attorney Curran Price, who did something much less, is facing felony charges. And D.A. Hochman could drop those charges if he thinks that it doesn't, something much worse than what Curran Price is accused of doesn't merit charges. Then why would he continue to pursue the case against Price? He could easily drop that.
It's different hard middles, I guess, right?
Yeah, the hard middle when you're black is apparently. And why the love for De Leon? I mean, supposedly De Leon is a progressive, according to his own definition, although he's the king of anti-blackness as far as the city council goes. City council history. I don't know. Why the love for him?
It's beyond me, right? It really, I mean...
Yeah, well, maybe he's going to surprise us. Maybe
you think so?
Please, District Attorney Hochman, make me and James Farr wrong. Make us wrong by dropping the case against Price and showing that you understand what a hard middle is, and because again, as Bakewell Jr. points out, the charges against Curran Price are really administrative and ethics issues. They're not criminal charges.
They're not criminal
they
charges.
They like to say embezzlement, but by embezzlement they mean he put his partner on his insurance. Is that embezzlement? Most of us would do that, and the only reason it was a problem is because his divorce wasn't final from his ex.
It's
that
almost,
can happen to anybody.
It's like, what is it? Bugs Bunny cartoon, duck season, wabbit season. Like it's black folks are in season, right? If you're Curran Price, you're charged. If you're Dr. Kellum Adams, your contracts are conflated into a time that you weren't even around. I mean, if you're Mayor Bass, you're blamed for what's the problems in Altadena. I think we're seeing a trend here. Is this a new one? Trend, black folks are it, blame them.
Paul Mooney wrote a joke about that long ago. It was 1-800-BLAME-N-word. I don't know if you ever heard that. Yeah, 1-800-BLAME-N-word. It was funny because it's so common.
Yeah.
But again, I think
Shedeur Sanders, you
Yeah, well, maybe you and Miles can explain that. I mean, I figured it out, but
you figured it out.
I figured it out. It wasn't hard to figure out, but I'm sure there's some details that I'm missing. You're talking about Deion Sanders' son, actually 2 of them that were drafted over the weekend.
Right.
After being delayed for some unknown reason. Yeah, we only have 40 seconds till news, traffic, and sports. But Shedeur Sanders went, round 3?
No, 5.
Round 5, 144 or something like that.
He might as well have been Mr. Irrelevant at that point, which is the last pick in the draft.
Except for...
it actually would have played better.
Except for his brother didn't even get drafted in the draft. He was undrafted.
Now
signed as a free agent.
He's 4th, 3rd round. I mean... That's not as surprising
because his brother wasn't as much of a star player.
Well, his brother's a good player. That's not a question. But the draft is fickle, right? I mean, Shedeur not being drafted, I don't know. Till the 5th round, rather.
Look, it's time for news, traffic, and sports. Maybe Ray Richardson is going to say something about it. Maybe Miles has something to say about it when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Police are searching for a suspect in a shooting at HBCU Elizabeth City State University in North Carolina that left 1 dead and 6 injured early Sunday. A 24-year-old non-student male was killed and 3 students were among the injured. The campus was locked down after the incident. The U.S. and Iran will resume nuclear talks next Saturday after a positive 3rd round in Oman. U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and Iran's foreign minister led the discussions. 3 people died in a plane crash in East Tennessee. The single-engine aircraft crashed while descending to land at Upper Cumberland Regional Airport. Communications were lost shortly before the crash. An investigation is underway. And members of the Philadelphia Eagles will visit the White House today. Running back Saquon Barkley met with President Trump on Sunday. The Eagles didn't visit after their 2018 win, but are honored to visit after beating the Kansas City Chiefs this year. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers are in trouble. They need to beat Minnesota 3 straight times to avoid elimination in the NBA playoffs. The Lakers are down 3-1 after losing at Minnesota Sunday, 116-113. Lakers coach J.J. Redick confirmed that he does not have confidence in his bench, which was outscored Sunday 25-6. Redick played LeBron, Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and Dorian Finney-Smith the entire second half. The group might have worn down in the 4th quarter. The Lakers were outscored 32-19 in the quarter and made only 5 of 18 shots. LeBron and Doncic were combined 1 for 8 and 0 for 3 on 3-pointers. LeBron still had a strong game with 27 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals, and 3 block shots. Doncic had 38 points and Hachimura dropped 23, but that wasn't enough. A must-win Game 5 for the Lakers is Wednesday in L.A. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
When you turn to the Employment Development Department, we'll help you get there. Whether it's support for you and your family while you find a new job, or the resources to focus on your recovery after illness or injury, we can help you move forward. From support while you bond with your newborn, to helping serve your family while your partner serves our country. Your EDD. We'll help you get there. For more information, visit edd.ca.gov.
KBLA Talk 1580 and the California Black Chamber of Commerce invite you to the Small Business Development Workshop, How to Do Business with California Government, on Thursday, May 15th at Victory Park in Pasadena, 2575 Paloma Street. Get certified and register as a new bidder. Sell products and services to the state. Learn about pre-bid events and more. And it's all free. All you have to do is sign up at www.calbcc.org. That's www.calbcc.org. Registration Registration for the Small Business Development Workshop, How to Do Business with California Government, begins at 9 a.m. and the workshop concludes at 1 p.m. on Thursday, May 15th at Victory Park in Pasadena, 2575 Paloma Street. This is a community call to action from the California Black Chamber of Commerce and KBLA Talk 1580.
The Comedy Connection series featuring KBLA's Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and the alpha male of comedy, Ray Grady. We're going to transform relationship disasters into stand-up material live at Inglewood's Miracle Theater on May 31st at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My clinical team will disclose all of your dating woes, while the alpha male of comedy, Ray Grady, has hand-selected supremely talented comedians to roast all of our tragic relationship choices. I dare you to bring your ex's phone number because Ray, he's going to text it live and the crowd will be sourcing emojis. Tickets are moving swiftly, so don't hesitate to grab yours at themiracle.inglewood.com before I diagnose your dating history as a pre-existing condition.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
800-920-1580. That's the number if you want to weigh in. James Farr is here. You can find him online at James Farr Live. You can find me online at DePrima Radio, DIPRIMA, and then radio. And, of course, we are at KBLA 1580 on all platforms. So you talked with Hochman, the new DA.
Yes.
The new sheriff in town. No, technically, he's
Top
district
cop.
attorney, not the sheriff. But he prosecutes cases for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Did he say anything about the Menendez brothers? That case is very confusing. He, during the campaign, he sounded like he was going to take it up again. Then he tried to shut it down, and now he's being sued over it.
No, I didn't.
You didn't
focus on the Menendez, other than the fact that I thought he was giving a lot of attention to it, and I just thought that there wasn't enough attention to what was happening for the brothers in Altadena.
No, I mean, clearly it's always going to be a national story. So if you're a person that likes press, you will be focusing on it. It's just interesting that Lyle and Eric have sued, saying that Hochman is biased against them and disrespectful to his family members. They want him recused from that case.
I mean, that
ain't gonna happen. He ain't gonna recuse himself.
He has locked into this for whatever reason.
Right.
He doesn't strike me as someone that looks for celebrity, right? Like he
really?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
We have different impressions.
Are
you on his mailing list?
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, get on the mailing list, and you might have a different take because I get a press release every 22 minutes about something.
I imagine I will.
G.A. Hochman fearlessly takes on this, that, and the other. I mean, I guess that's what politicians do. They want coverage of what they're doing, but he got a rather robust press operation going on.
Yeah, he has no. That I do see. I see the social media posts and stuff, but no, I don't receive physical mail from the district attorney. Not looking for any mail from him.
No, I'm talking about email. They're not sending me letters.
Okay.
If they do that, this is probably a bigger problem than
that's usually a subpoena, right?
Right? Yeah. Well, I don't know. I haven't gotten one yet in my life, but I hope not to. The LA Times is reporting residential burglaries are up 450% in Altadena compared to last year. The thieves are targeting homes, not the ones that burned to the ground, obviously, because there's nothing there but tiles, but the ones that survived, that are still there. And they're saying the burglaries have spiked in both Palisades and Eaton Fire. I know that the ownership of the LA Times is very conservative, so I'm always going to take that with a grain of salt, especially right now when they clearly have an agenda. However, I mean, it seems like these numbers, unless they're cooking the numbers, are pretty not good.
I mean, when you look at like Nextdoor, it's kind of like the Post. That's the app, the social media.
Of course, the data's coming from the sheriff's department, so they always try to make themselves seem needed too. So
I mean, there are residential burglaries that are happening, right? this number, what is it, 400% up?
450. It says more than, according to the LA County Sheriff's, which is the official story, so you could take it with a grain of salt, but they say more than 140 residential burglaries have been reported to the Altadena station this year alone.
Yeah. So it's opportunity, right? It's unfortunate. Hockman says he's throwing the book at them.
I'm sure he is. While he's busy not charging Kevin De Leon, he's happy to go after the homeless and residential burglars. We don't want that. That's all bad. But it's interesting that the Palisades doesn't have this problem. Their numbers are stable. Is that private security?
I don't know
because they're wealthier.
I don't know if it's private security.
Or should we credit that to the mayor because crime is down in L.A. and she's not getting credit for that?
There is a blade and a drug corridor in Pasadena.
What do you mean a blade?
A track. How do you say this in a nice way? Sex trafficking.
Oh, I got you.
Sex work.
Okay, I got you.
Right in Pasadena that is now unseen because of the internet. There is a lot of drug trafficking that happens in Pasadena that they want to act like does not happen. When you see, perhaps some of these violent crimes that are happening on the metro in that area, I don't want to place this on the unhoused, right, or place this on folks who have mental health challenges.
Yeah, but it is true that the National Guard still has checkpoints in Palisades, and they don't. As far as I know, they no longer do in Altadena.
No, they're not there.
And why is that? Because the mayor went to the governor and got help.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's a Barger question, right?
Yeah. Back to your girl, the Republican, the blonde wonder.
Because she is the supervisor that represents me, let's not make that my girl. Right?
Oh, sorry.
My girl would call me back, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, probably so.
A little bit.
Okay, wait. I jumped into that. I still want to know, since you brought up Shedeur Sanders, I still want to know what Miles thinks. One of the things I was impressed with was him and his brother, what's his brother's name?
Shiloh.
I was impressed with their attitude. They were joyful and humble and kind through the whole process from what I saw.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this. Why are we having a funeral for this boy, though? You know what I mean? Like, I understand it's not drafted where we were predicting him to draft, but that happens all the time in the NFL draft. So I'm proud of them for keeping that composure. Your guys just got picked up by the NFL teams. So,
right.
I mean, your lifelong dream is realized. So now, yeah, it's not the red carpet rolled out for you like it's been your whole life, but that's football, bro. Go play ball now, boys. And I think that if we look at it from that point of view for Shiloh and Shedeur, that's the glimmer of hope, man. They have a chance to go out there and actually ball. It could be worse situation for both of them. I do get it from a Deion standpoint. If you want to throw that on top of it, then it makes it tricky. But for the boys, though, man, here's y'all shot. Go ball.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one good thing about, football. You always have a chance to go. If you get on the field, you always have a chance to go show out. And unfortunately, Colin Kaepernick never got that, once he started kneeling. But at least they got on teams. So you guys don't think it had to do with Deion Sanders? You don't think it had to do with punishing Deion Sanders? You just think it was the regular ebb and flow of the draft? Because I've been hearing a lot of people online, including some sports experts that I follow, saying that they were putting them in their place, reminding them that they were black, punishing Deion, and even some people even calling it a lynching.
I think there is a Deion factor to it for sure. But I also think that it goes to show that, also Shedeur wasn't a can't miss home run best player in the draft type of talent anyway. So if he would have been that type of guy, he'd have been like Travis Hunter and people would have traded up to go get him and fight for him. But that's just not where Shedeur is as a player. He still has to develop, still get better. A little undersized. So yeah, it is what it is.
Jerry Anderson says if Shedeur gets to play, his value will be obvious. His subsequent contracts will be on par. Yeah, and like I said off air, the spirit of Jim Brown will be over there helping him out in Cleveland. Where the rebellion of Mr. Brown is legendary.
Well, let's be clear. They both still have to make a team. Being drafted is one thing, right? 5th round is a late pick. Being signed as a free agent, as in Shiloh's case, right? They still have to make a team.
Understood. Miles, you think they will?
I'm pretty sure they will, but I go back to show I said they have to just play ball, and they're both good ball players. So they're both NFL talent caliber of young men on that football field. So I think they shouldn't have a problem making a roster for sure. Considering some of the people who are playing on some of these teams right now, yeah, you can throw a Shedeur and a Shiloh in there.
Interesting perspective from you guys. I just, as a mama, I sit there and I go, somebody raised these children right. They came through a very disappointing and tough time, and they were joyful and kind and polite. And I thought, to me, that spoke volumes.
So you may not have tracked them, but we've watched them grow up through Deion's
no doubt.
TV, right, and the reality shows. And so the fact that they showed up with that joy and, if you will, well-behaved and kind of with that energy, it makes sense. Like
under pressure. It's one thing to be joyful and well-behaved when everything's, as Miles said, the red carpet is being rolled out. It's another thing when the door is being slammed in your face on national television.
Well, conversely, I forget the player's name, but I caught a clip of it. He was drafted, in the 1st round, and his family, his father remarked how, disappointed they were that he didn't go higher.
Interesting.
So I'm like, it's perspective, right?
Yeah, it's perspective, and it's home training.
No, this is Daddy.
Well, Daddy had to have home training too somewhere.
Yeah, but what the
everybody got a mama.
It really affects their money. That's all.
Yeah,
and what's
but, yeah,
available
but again, but if you ball out of control, your money's gonna come.
That's not really how football works versus basketball versus baseball, where you're signing guaranteed contracts.
Yeah.
Right. So
but what's really guaranteed? I mean,
baseball and NBA contracts, absolutely guaranteed.
Even if you're injured. And
if you're injured.
Never play again.
Never play again. Yes. Big
well,
difference.
then how come? Okay, another conversation for another day. Mm-hmm. Or if you're benched.
Still get paid.
100% of your contract?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So what's wrong with the football union then?
Football.
Because I know a lot of those guys come in and really like the.
It's the injury rate.
Right, because it's a dangerous game. But I know a lot of those rookies, they come in at the minimum, which sounds like a lot of money if you don't play football, but it's, what is it, like $300,000 or something?
It's a little closer to 4, a little over 4. But one of the most interesting docuseries you can watch is Inside the NFL. They're kind of mid-season.
But you're saying that even if he's an amazing, best quarterback in the league, his money won't go up? That I don't believe.
Not initially.
Well,
so in all sports, you're paid for your potential, right?
Yeah.
You pay for what they believe you can do,
right?
Which means you have to perform. Which means in that window of time, those 3-4 years that it takes to perform, let's hope you don't get injured.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
That's the big. So that's the main. That's the issue.
Because there's no way that guy plays great and doesn't get his money. I don't. I've seen it.
Well, he has to play
when you
first.
Get to those 100 million contracts and stuff like that. You're talking about people. No one walked on. I don't think most people walk on with that.
I don't know, Miles. You think he'll be like a Brock Purdy, where no one thought he would do anything, and then had that kind of success?
Well, Miles is answering calls from people that want to get on the air right now. Right. Miles got 12 jobs. He's running the board, coordinating the production, answering the phone, and talking on the mic.
He's the border czar. I mean,
he's the border czar of KBLA.
He keeps everything on air.
You want to answer his question, Miles? What was your question?
I mean, do you think he'll be like a Brock Purdy if he ever gets to play? Is that the kind of trajectory you see? And that's San Francisco's quarterback.
I don't think he will be because it's a different situation. Mm-hmm. San Francisco was a stacked team. They have a lot of talent around them. Cleveland's still in the rebuilding phase. But also, too, Brock Purdy, he had and he was a backup to an established starter. So this is a chance he has to actually start pretty soon, I believe, because he's going up against guys who aren't a guaranteed one of these $100 million quarterbacks that you have to pay just because they're on your team. That, you know what I mean, that some of these other quarterbacks end up going to later as drafting him as only a backup quarterback. So I think he'll be good though.
Purdy got a break, right? Because he got to start.
Yes.
Yeah. So you again, a break helps.
I mean,
No
Tom
matter who
Brady,
you are.
Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that football is all about next man up, right? So that opportunity could present itself if you're in the right system.
It's all about next man up. Okay. I haven't watched football in a long time, but I was a hardcore football fan, and I don't know if I would say that.
Well, you know.
I was.
Shador needs to go through the first things first farm system. Then he might have been a higher draft.
Yeah,
pick.
I think our farm system is a little too lenient. Actually, I'm thinking we need some tougher drills around here. 800-920-1580 if you want to weigh in. James Farr and Dominique DePrima. Miles Lowe at Miles Lowe Music. EP out now.
Imagine that.
KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease or AD. But did you know that black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? You may be able to reduce your risk by managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure, being physically active, eating healthy, and exercising your mind. To learn more about AD, the importance of early diagnosis and intervention, and a potential treatment option, visit treatalzearly.com. That's treatalzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back indeed. James Farr is here. We didn't set out to talk about football, but James brought it up, and I know that's what everyone was talking about over the weekend with the draft, even more than usual. But I don't know if you heard about the mayor of Lancaster. I guess the guy's sort of eccentric, this guy Rex Paris. He says that the way to fix the homeless problem is to give them free fentanyl as much as they want and have a federal purge of the houseless, removing them from his city.
Is that eccentric?
Well, I say eccentric because of other things he's not done, not because of that. I mean, that's terrible is what that is.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's like basically he's saying kill them off.
Kill them off.
Yeah, because we already have an epidemic of fentanyl overdoses among the unhoused. And so he's saying just give them as much as they want and let them kill themselves. Yeah, that's more than eccentric. It's actually homicidal.
It is, and very, very troubling. But yeah, no, he's let out a few zingers in the past. So, what's his goal in this? Like
zero homeless in the city of Lancaster. But the thing about it is he was challenged on it. He didn't back down. He was like, yeah, we need to get them all out of here. We need a federal purge. He does say that he's talking about the criminal element. 40 to 45% is what he cited. He just makes up numbers of the homeless population. Then he says that they're responsible for most of the robberies, most of the rapes, and at least half of our murders. But if he doesn't cite any statistics, and if you look at other cities, the data do not follow that trend. Homeless people, unhoused people, are not tracking on murders and rapes. They're tracking on petty crimes like trespassing.
Yeah, I think President Trump has just kind of made it this space where people just sit and think of the craziest things that they can say, and they just say it.
And they mean it is the point. He says, I wish the president would give us a purge because we do need to purge these people. And to me, when you think about the fact that most of the unhoused, not most of, a huge number, a disproportionate number of the unhoused are black people, and you listen to someone say, we do need to purge these people, it hits different.
It does hit different. And I don't understand. LA County was seeing a reduction in homelessness, and now this guy's solution is to just kill them.
That'll reduce them.
But you're talking about passes, right? Lancaster's in the 5th district of LA County.
Well,
kind of feels a lot like the rest of the United States, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying that, in this case, he's not getting a pass from the press, which is interesting. But the ACLU says that whole city is a dragnet of criminalization where the law enforcement just bulldozes encampments of the unhoused and orders them to move or they'll be arrested, which, is a little different than most of California.
Kind of falls in line with that hard middle, right?
It's hard in the middle, if that's what you mean. Yeah.
If that tip of that spear is pointed at you, I'm sure it's very sharp, right? And
no doubt.
And but no, that is just the craziest thing that fentanyl. That's the solution.
Yeah. So now the office of the mayor of Lancaster could be basically a drug dealer. Speaking of ongoing problematic people, talk to me about what you're continuing to investigate and report with the Pasadena police chief.
Well, I'm losing fingers now to keep track of the whistleblowers that are coming forward from inside of the department. This time, just about 3 weeks ago, two lieutenants, husband and wife, have come forward. His former adjunct, and she was his public information officer, Monica Cuellar, and her husband, Lieutenant Keith Gomez, have both come forward. She's making some strong allegations about harassment. The governmental complaint alleges that the chief had a Murphy bed installed in his office. The complaint also says that the chief was seen with other women coming in and out of the department.
This is Chief Gene Harris,
Chief
for
Eugene
those who
Harris,
don't
yes.
track Pasadena. Yeah.
There are other former co-workers that are coming forward and alleging sexual harassment. There's some things that I just cannot repeat on air, Dominic. I'd have to share the complaint with you. It might get us a fine.
Yeah, no fines, especially with our current MAGA
Right.
FCC. But this is a black police chief in its city that's been having a rotating door of police chiefs, right? I mean,
well, I don't see the relevance in the black part in this one, right?
That sounds crazy.
I know.
Explain what you mean.
What I mean is, I think when we're talking about how Mayor Bass or Councilmember Price has been treated, right?
Right, unjustly.
Unjustly, right? I think we can trace that back to blackness, right? Anti-blackness. I think what's happening here, yes, he is an African-American man, and I don't question people's blackness, but I think he's matriculated in a system that the blackness isn't necessarily a thing for him. I think the behavior is in
blue.
Pig.
Oh my God, no, you didn't. Is that dehumanizing? I always wonder about that, because I do have friends that and colleagues that use that term, but I feel like that's a version of dehumanizing people, just like we're being dehumanized by others. If you call someone that
I mean, it's
not.
These are the people who
recognizing
work with him,
their humanity. It's not speaking to their higher self. Let me put it that way.
I mean, but this is what if we're just only looking at the governmental complaints, right?
Mm-hmm.
It paints one picture. When we look at some of the past allegations that he's been involved in, I don't know what else to say.
A Murphy bed disguised as a cabinet is crazy work, though. And apparently, I forgot that the Pasadena Police Department has gangs just like the L.A. Sheriff's Department.
Just a little bit. Although
the
veteranos, and yeah, what they had was kind of like this satire is probably what they're going to try to dismiss it as. But there's this kind of declaration, something that was forged on city stationery, city paperwork that basically talks about this Boys Town group, which is kind of like this credence or membership that they all kind of belong to. And this was prominently displayed in the public space of the police department, and then it magically disappeared after, according to the court documents, after it was called into question in the deposition.
Read more at laprogressive.com or tune in to James Farr Saturday mornings at 10. As long as, let me stop.
Don't do that.
I'm zipping it. I'm zipping my lip right here. I don't want to get you in any more trouble. James Farr, thank you for coming in. It's always fun to talk to you.
Absolutely, Dominique. Thank you.
Perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580. We've got Mindful Monday and then open phones, KBLA, only right here.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Police are searching for a suspect in a shooting at HBCU Elizabeth